Welcome back to the Westmoreland Sports Network for our Recruiting Thursday special, brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Jack Ridenour here with you, and today we are joined by current Greater Latrobe girls soccer player and recent West Virginia University women's soccer commit, Robin Reilly. Robin, first off, thanks so much for joining us today. Congrats on the recent commitment. How does it feel to kind of get this weight lifted off of you some and now know where you'll be heading off to school after your time at Latrobe?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm super excited just because I can't wait to get to West Virginia and start playing with the college, program and stuff like that. But super exciting. Weight off the shoulder, stuff like that. But yeah, really exciting. Looking forward to it.
Well, I want to get right into just kind of what drew you to the program, to the school. I mean, what was it that ultimately sold you on wanting to become a Mountaineer?
So there were a lot of deciding factors for me, but I would definitely say one of the top ones was just like the coaching staff altogether. They were just the type of energy was contagious right away when I met them and I went to camp. There's the type of coaches I want to be surrounded by, and that I want to play for a coach that believes in me. So they were just a great coaching staff.
I know that along the way you had a lot of interest, so it wasn't just West Virginia that came calling. And one of the schools that actually called is the same school that your older sister Reagan has committed to in Bowling Green, which I'm sure that was probably exciting for you two. And I would love to hear, what were the conversations? Did you two try any planning of maybe teaming up at Bowling Green also?
Yeah, I was really interested in Bowling Green just because, it'd be awesome to play with my sister in college. But we're not obviously, two different players, two different types of paths. But we always joked how like we'd play together and it kind of, you never know kind of thing. But
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, I think it's a very unique kind of situation that, you can share an experience like that with your sibling. I don't think many people can say that they've been recruited by the same school as their older sibling. So that is very awesome. But what was this whole recruiting process like for you as a whole? I mean, I'm sure there was probably lots of ups and downs, topsy-turvy, all sorts of things like that. Also factoring in the education aspect, having to get the SATs in and all that other stuff. So what has this recruiting process been like for you as a whole?
It started really busy and, kind of overwhelming at the start. The first day of contact, a lot of coaches start reaching out that day, just the beginning. But, it starts slimming down as you realize which options are more realistic for you as a player. So it started getting a little bit more, slimmed down. And then eventually I went on some of my visits and I could decide after West Virginia's visit. I knew that was where I wanted to go.
Well, I know that you'll probably be very excited for Saturday football when you go to West Virginia. Obviously, I know they had a big win against Pitt recently, so I'm sure that will be very fun when you head off to there. But I want to get back into kind of, the relationship that you and Reagan have, because, you guys are not too dissimilar in age, and she made her commitment last year, you making your commitment this year. So I'm sure that she was probably pretty beneficial in helping you through this process. What kind of advice or maybe pointers did she give you when maneuvering through this recruiting world?
Yeah, she was always a great help in the recruiting process, even starting young. Like even with Morgan, I'd always get dragged to camps just because I was the youngest sister. So if they wanted to go to an ID camp, I'd just, tag along with them. And it actually worked out, kind of started my recruitment process a lot sooner than most girls my age. So I kind of got a head start on that. And then I got to watch Reagan's recruitment process and see kind of how she dealt with it and, how she, scheduled visits and stuff like that. So I always had that kind of head start, I'd say. But she was always a great help. She told me, you'll feel the right fit whenever you go on your visits and you see like if you can picture yourself there and stuff like that. But she was always great help.
Well, I know you mentioned your other sister, Morgan. I would just love to know what kind of impact have both of them had on your career and just your development as a player?
Well, we've always, pushed each other, even with like 1v1s. We always joke in the back, Reagan's an outside back, I'm an outside wing. So if you put us against each other, 1v1s would get really competitive, but they were always fun. So they both always push me and always support me in all my decisions throughout like all of my high school. So they were always great and pushing me to my fullest potential.
Do you think that at times maybe you borrow a thing that Reagan does in her game and vice versa? I mean, is there ever kind of that feeling of you guys are maybe picking apart each other's games a little bit and borrowing it essentially?
Yeah, for sure. I'll see a move Reagan does and I'm like, oh, I like that. Like maybe I'll pick that up and I'll try it. Or even like pattern play. She always thinks like, we're always on the same page at the same time kind of thing. So she'll make the run before I even look to play the ball through. So she and I have that kind of dynamic duo. So it works out.
Yeah, I mean, having that chemistry, that's something that's hard to teach. And you guys get to, formulate it at home on a daily basis, which is pretty cool. But I know now you're one of the now many members of the Greater Latrobe Girls Soccer Program to pledge the commitment to the Division I ranks. Obviously, this is a program that has skyrocketed in the last 2 or 3 years. But what does it say about the talent level you all have and just the program as a whole, now you being another member that makes their commitment to the Division I world?
Our program has really made it like a long way through history. Just my freshman year, we came in like Norwin, for example, a team we've never beat in 32 years. My freshman year, we finally beat them. So each year we've been continuing to make more history. We have 4 D1 commits right now on the team. I mean, we just lost Sophia, so that she was another D1 commit at JMU. But yeah, we're starting to get a lot of talent in. So it's really impressive, and our team's getting a lot stronger. So I'm excited. We also have other D1 prospects in my grade and the grade below me with Avery Yurko, Annalise Bauer, some other girls on the team. So I think we have a really strong team this year, and even next year we'll continue to be strong.
Well, I know you mentioned the strength that you guys have as a team, and it's clearly been working. I mean, you guys are off to a great start, getting some really big wins against some very strong conference opponents. I mean, what would you say has been just clicking overall for you guys to start the year?
Yeah, I feel like we just have we don't have much depth, so we don't even have a JV. So the fact that there's so few of us, I mean, it has its disadvantages, but the advantage to it is we have this chemistry where we all kind of, it's such a tight and close team that we get along so well. We know each other so well. We practice, same group all the time. So we've really gotten the chemistry down and just always on the same page, keeping the ball moving, keeping possession, stuff like that.
Well, that is definitely a very unique thing that you guys don't have a JV program, but how do you think that's kind of helped maybe some of the younger players on your team get adapted and get accustomed to playing the varsity style of play?
Yeah, I know it's definitely intimidating coming in as a freshman. We've had freshmen that are on varsity. It's really intimidating. But I mean, I think it's great training when you get to train with, seniors and D1 commits, Reagan, other girls on the team. So I think it's helped a lot just with their like development, stuff like that with the foot skills and everything. But it's only making us stronger. So it's been pretty good.
Well, it's clearly really started to pay off, and obviously it paid off last year. You guys got first ever playoff wins, not just 1, but 2. You qualified for the PIAA playoffs as well for the first time ever. I mean, just try and sum up that year for me if you can, and just what it meant to you, your teammates in the program to achieve all of those feats.
Yeah, so my class especially, we always talk about how every year we want to come in and make more history. So freshman year was the Norwin game. That was our history. Last year was our, playoff win and state qualifications. That was another history point. So each year we keep saying we're going to build our way up the ladder and keep going. So this year we're really focused on, getting hopefully to Highmark, even trying to make it to playoffs, getting that state qualification. But we've always just been very motivated as a team. At the beginning of the season, we'll write down our goals on a whiteboard and we'll, try to check as many of them off as we can. So we've always been very goal oriented. So it's paid off just because seeing those goals in the locker room every day, they remind you what you're out there working for.
Well, I want to get into kind of how the trajectory of this year can play out, because obviously you guys have a lot to build off of from last year. But what do you think is something that you guys need to maybe do a little bit better of this season that you didn't do such a great job of last year to push even further into the playoffs and even make a big run in the state playoffs as well?
Honestly, I would just say it's kind of one of those things where goals win games. So we just got to we've done a great job as a team, winning most of the possession, I'd say. We're like dominating most games, but it's just if we can find that back of the net early and start getting the goals rolling in, we could start taking off some of those wins and make it far in the playoffs.
Well, I know that you have a couple big showdowns coming up, and obviously you've had some really big games and some huge wins along the way. But Robin, really appreciate you stopping by, especially in the middle of your season. Thanks so much. But before we let you go, I want to get into just what ultimately you're most excited for, maybe a few things that you're excited for when you head off to college, not this year, but next year, obviously, or the year after. But what is it that just excites you for heading to Morgantown? It doesn't have to be soccer related. It could be Saturday football games against Pitt. It could be whatever it might be. But what is it ultimately that you're most excited for when you head off to college?
Obviously I'm excited for the whole college aspect. Of course, soccer's not exactly the number one thing you go to for college. But I'm super excited just that it's close to home. My parents can come to the home games and all that stuff. I'm going into a competitive program, so I'm excited to just start that Big 12 conference play and see, whenever I get there, how far we can go and if we can win the Big 12.
Well, I know you've got a lot of things, still some unfinished business at Latrobe, and we're excited to see you guys take that on this upcoming year and moving forward. Again, thanks so much for stopping by, and congratulations on your commitment.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's West Virginia women's soccer commit Robin Reilly. As always, thanks for joining us for another Recruiting Thursday feature presented to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg, as we would love to meet you. Be sure to check out our other Recruiting Thursday features on our YouTube channel. And until next time, this is Jack Ridenour signing off, not saying a goodbye, just to see you later, right here and only on the Westmoreland Sports Network.